Hey everyone, this is Gleb, and today I want to show you how to confirm the input element's value using Cypress commands. Before we do the input elements, let's look at plain elements like this paragraph. You can confirm its text in two ways. You can get the element, so ID name. You can invoke, because it's a jQuery object, method text, and when you use an assertion should equal, or you can use include, match, right? But let's say equal. Joe Smith. And that works. And both scigget and sceinvoke are queries, so they will retry if a value is not Joe Smith. There is a simpler way for just equality. You can say once you get the jQuery object, it should have text and then provide the text. And this comes from Chai jQuery assertion plugin that Cypress bundles. Perfect. So now let's look at the input elements. I have an input element with some text, and we can do the both ways, right? We can get the element and invoke its not text but val method, and we can say should equal, and initially it's empty. And then we'll type Anna. So in this case, we can say should equal Anna. And of course, we can do the Chai jQuery assertion should have value Anna, not text, but value. Perfect. If you use text area, it's the same thing. Let me go to the next example where I will deal with a number input. So we have an input with type number, and we can get, let's say, name quantity. And let's say we type, I don't know, 42. And now we can get this element, invoke value, and should be within 40 and 50. Not value, val, 3 letters. Okay, so notice in this case, the value that we get is text, right? We need to convert it to a number. And you can use my Cypress map, but even easier is to say value as string right here and use a should callback. And now you can verify whatever you want. So we can say convert number value as string to be within 40. So what we tried to do before, we are doing using a should callback. Fun fact, if you use should have value, it does understand numbers, okay? Because it converts it under the hood. One last example that I will show in this video is kind of a complicated case. So in this case, initially the input is empty, and then maybe the application loads previously entered values and shows them and sets them as values. It's a little bit of anti-pattern, I think. I think it's bad user experience because the user can try entering something. Oops, let me go back, reload, and enter. And then notice it kind of got lost because we overrode it. I would suggest you disable the input until it's ready. But how do you confirm that there is some input value and it's not empty, but you don't know the actual text? So in, let's say this is account name, in my Cypress map plugin that I will use right here, I have a size table query where you can say value. And what it will do, it will retry for 1 second, or you can control it and say maybe 500 milliseconds for the value to be there. I would suggest that you for sure set the stable value longer than the loading element. And then you can get the value, and at this point it is loaded. All right, and you can set the timeout to be 0 to make sure you get whatever is there. And you can say should have value default bank. So by the time that value doesn't change for a second and a half, once you grab it, it's already there. This approach works very well when there are multiple values, but if you have just a single change, right, and you know for sure that the input will go from an empty string to non-empty string, you can do the following: account name, invoke val should not equal an empty string. And in this case, as soon as it changes, you know you're good to go. But in other cases, when you don't know if it strictly goes from nothing to a value that's stable, like right here, notice right here, it goes from nothing, it goes from ... to loading to default bank, then I suggest you use my size stable command, okay? Because then it ignores the initial loading, it waits for default bank to be there for a second and a half, and then you can confirm it. Okay, so this is my how to get input element value and use it in Cypress tests examples. And I'll put the link to this recipe in the description of this video.